Hey, Rabbi Griscott here with your weekly video sermon for Parshat Shelach. An old joke goes that the typical Jewish telegram reads as follows: start worrying, details to follow. Like so many jokes, it reflects a bit of reality, that Jewish capacity of worry, and start worrying, details to follow could indeed be a pithy summary of the plot of this week's Parsha. Moses sends 12 spies to scout out the land of Canaan, which would become the land of Israel. And tragically, 10 out of 12 of them bring back a bad report, a negative report. They say, we can't do it. The land is full of giants. It's a land that devours its inhabitants. The cities are too fortified. They don't have faith in God. Only two of the spies, Joshua and Caleb, bring back a positive report. And because the nation at large accepts the report of the 10 bad spies and freaks out and doesn't have faith in God, he sentences them to wander for 40 years in the desert before the next generation, the children, the innocent children who are not guilty of the freakout, the national worry, will enter the promised land with Joshua and with Caleb leading them. And what do the people say? Yes, it is a land flowing with milk and honey, but the people that dwells in the land is powerful. The cities are fortified and very great. We also saw the offspring of the giant. Amalek dwells in the area of the south. The Hittite, the Jebusite, the Amorite dwell in the mountain. The Canaanite dwells by the sea and on the bank of the Jordan. Caleb silenced the people toward Moses and said, we shall surely ascend and conquer it, for we can surely do it. But the men who had ascended with him said, we cannot ascend to that people, for it is too strong for us. So in Hebrew, Pasuk Lamed, Vayahas Kalev et ha'am el Moshe, Vayomer alo na'aleh v'yarashnu ota, ki yachol nuchal la. We shall surely ascend and conquer it, for we can surely do it. Ki yachol nuchal la. I want to dwell on the meaning of that Hebrew word yachol, we can. In Hebrew, when you say ani yachol, it means I can do such and such. But what does the word can mean? C-A-N. What does the word ability really mean? And what's the connotation of what Caleb is saying? At first, it would be tempted to construct a false dichotomy and say, what was the sin of the 10 bad spies? That they knew that conquering the land of Israel would be hard and it would be difficult. But when Caleb says, we can surely do it, he's saying the opposite, and he's saying, no, it will not be difficult. We can do it, and we can do it easily because God is on our side. And yet, there's a bit more nuance to it than that. Caleb is not, in fact, saying we can do it easily. He's actually agreeing with the 10 bad spies that it will be very hard, but we can do it nonetheless. Because the word yachol in Hebrew doesn't really just mean ability, that I can do such and such. It actually means to overcome and to prevail. And that's a very important meaning of what the word can and I am able and I can do XYZ really means in English also. We first see this the very first time that God uses the word ability or yachol in the entire Torah, when the angel, the man, the mysterious man, wrestles with Jacob. And of course, our tradition tells us that this man was an angel of God, and he renames him. And what does he say? Vayomer lo Yaakov ye'amer od shimcha ki im Yisrael ki sarita im Elohim ve'im anashim vatuchal. The angel says, no longer will it be said that your name is Jacob, but Israel, Yisrael, which means to prevail over God or to be a godly prevailer. That could be what it means. For you have striven with the divine and with man, and you have overcome. Vatuchal, you have overcome. The word vatuchal, translated more boringly, could just mean you were able, you did it, you can do it. But it actually means to overcome, and that's what it means. That's what the word can means. It doesn't mean I can do it because it is easy, but rather I can do it because it is hard. And that, in that sense, I'm paraphrasing the famous line of President John F. Kennedy, and you have to picture in his New England Boston accent, we choose to go to the moon and those other things not because it is easy, but because it is hard. It's my best imitation of the Boston accent. And that's exactly what the word yachol means. The letters of the word yachol, the Kabbalah tells us, Yud, Kaf, Lamed, 3 consecutive letters in ascending order, starting with Yud, which has the numerical value of 10. So it's the first double digit numerical letter, the first powerful letter in that sense, and then it goes up from there like a ladder. Yud, Kaf, Lamed, consecutive letters ascending. And because 3 makes a pattern, You can imagine an imaginary ellipsis after the Lamed. Yud Kaf Lamed, it's ascending, and you're supposed to imagine, and it keeps ascending. That's what Yachol means, to climb up out of the struggle and to prevail. I think we all probably remember when we were kids and you ask your teacher, who might be a stickler about English grammar, maybe it's the English teacher, can I go to the bathroom? And what did the teacher say? Sarcastically, I don't know. Can you? Are you able to go to the bathroom? Is that what you're asking me? You really have to say, may I go to the bathroom? You want permission. Can you do it or can you not? That's up to you. Are you able? Do you have the skill to go to the bathroom cynically? But it really highlights the meaning of the word can, which we don't often think about, a deeper meaning. If Yachol means to ascend higher and higher and to climb out of struggle, I think that's exactly what we find in Rashi's comment on the words before, Ki Yachol Nuchal La, we shall surely overdo it, we shall surely overcome. Caleb's statement is the first time the word Yachol is intensified. There's a double usage. Yachol Nuchal. And previously the spies said, Lo Nuchal La'alot, we cannot do it. And he says, Yachol Nuchal, we surely can. But the words before that, Alo Na'aleh, also intensified and doubled. We shall surely ascend. And what does Rashi say? Afilu Bashamayim. Even if we have to go up to the heaven in order to attain the land of Israel and then come back down into the land of Canaan. Even if Moses tells us, make ladders and climb up to the heaven, we will make ladders and we will go up and we will be able to do it. Natzliach b'chol devarav, and we will prevail according to whatever Moses tells us. To me, that Rashi makes Caleb sound arrogant at first, because it sounds like the Tower of Babel. We'll build towers up to the sky and we can do it. But the difference is, he was actually correct, because Rashi also goes on to say that Caleb said, look at all the miracles that Moses did for us through God. He split the sea and he brought us the quail and the manna is raining down from the heaven. It's not like the Tower of Babel where it's hubris to say we can climb up to the heaven when God is not with you. That comes from your own initiative. This is true Yachol. We can and we can overcome whatever challenge because we know that God is with us. And that confidence is what Yachol, ability, is all about. Yachol itself being a ladder, ascending up to heaven. And so I think the lesson for us is that we all need to take Kalev's advice into heart, especially because we're living through a time where we all need a little bit of Yachol. We all need a little bit of sense that we can prevail over this incredibly challenging time. And just personally, KI just sent out an email that we're planning to reopen in a soft fashion with social distancing and with wearing masks. And it's not going to be easy. There's not going to be kiddush. It's not going to be shul as we're used to. We're asking people a very difficult thing, not to sing. What a bitter pill to swallow. Shul is all about singing together in fellowship. And it's almost a joke. We are going to have people policing this, saying, don't let me catch you singing. Sing softly underneath your mask because singing can spread the droplets. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. But to paraphrase Kennedy, we choose to embrace these challenges not because they are easy, but because they are hard. That's the challenge that Kalev teaches us in this week's Parsha, and that's what God said indeed is the very definition of what it means to be a Jew. Hisarita, im Elohim ve'im anashim vatuchal, for you have striven with the divine and with man, and you have overcome. And so with that confidence, let's go into Shabbos and all have a peaceful and restful Shabbos.